Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of Scouting 5, recapping scouting news from around the world for the week of January 20th, 2025. And also, incidentally, for pretty much all of January 2025, since to date I haven't been able to release an episode. But I am still Scouter Ken, and I'm still recording from St. Albert, Alberta. Happy New Year, belatedly, to you all. Merry Christmas, belatedly, to you all. And I apologize profusely for not getting an episode out before now. Even now, you can kind of hear my voice hasn't completely recovered. I caught some kind of nasty cold, and as is often the case these days, the first thing that goes when I catch a cold is my voice, and it's been a little slow to bounce back ever since. And then life went topsy-turvy anyways. Travel, funerals, and a bunch of other things. Not that you need to hear about any of that, but that is my apology to you. Sorry for not getting an episode out before now, but let's dive into some of the scouting news from around the world that's taken place over the last little while. First up, some news about an amazing public service project performed by Scouts in Uganda, quoting scout.org. Access to clean water remains a critical issue in Uganda, where millions still rely on unsafe sources. The Uganda Scouts for Clean Water project, implemented by Mercy Scouts in partnership with Mbale Scouts and the Mbale City Scout Council, has successfully brought safe water to communities in dire need. Thanks to funding from the Scout donation platform, this initiative has transformed lives by digging 2 boreholes and constructing 2 protected spring wells, directly benefiting over 6,200 people across multiple villages. This project aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 6, Clean Water and Sanitation, by ensuring equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water, while also contributing to Goal 3, Good Health and Well-Being, by reducing waterborne diseases and improving overall community health. A very, very cool effort by the Scouts in Uganda to directly benefit their communities. And again, in a way that we don't think about this all that much in Canada or in the US or in like what we would maybe call in another sense, the developed world. Not that Uganda isn't developed, but we don't think, most of us in the Western world, we don't think about our water source all that much. Water just comes out of the tap. It's not that way in other parts of the world. Now, this is not a service project necessarily that Scouts in, say, Canada, the US, Britain, wherever, could do. But it is really, really cool to see Scouts in underdeveloped parts of the world taking on challenges like this and directly benefiting the lives and the health of their communities. And I do sometimes worry that we don't have that same level of community impact or visibility anymore where we are. And of course, it is Girl Scout cookie season again, or will be shortly. They're kicking it off this week, I believe. At least in the US. I don't know when the Girl Guides in Canada do their cookie sales, although I imagine that will be soon as well. But if you're in the US, expect the Girl Scouts to come knocking, or expect to see them set up at a table somewhere in your area, doing what they usually do and selling cookies. But with that, it is worth noting that a couple of cookie flavors are apparently being discontinued, or at least this will be the last season to get them. After the 2025 cookie season, at least according to this article at msn.com, which I'll link, 2 of the favors that have evidently been fan favorites for a number of years, Girl Scout S'mores and Toast Yay, will be discontinued. As you might expect, the s'more cookies feature graham crackers with chocolate and marshmallows, and the Toast Yay cookies are kind of like a cinnamon toast or French toast with cinnamon and butter flavor. And yes, for whatever reason, they've decided that these 2 cookie flavors are no longer. I don't know if that's because they changed bakery partnerships or if it's just time to refresh the flavor offerings. But if you like those 2 particular kinds of cookies, make sure you stock up this year, because otherwise, be out of luck. Now, here's some happy news about a scouting property for once. Haven't had too much of that recently, but the Lions Club in Sudbury has given a sizable donation to maintain the operations of a small scout camp in the area. Quoting the Sudbury Star, the Coordinating Council, representing 18 Lions clubs in the Sudbury area, has donated $10,000 to Scouts Canada's local Camp Willabosca. The camp has been actively used for more than 80 years by scouting groups from across Northern Ontario, as well as other youth-oriented groups. The camp offers indoor and outdoor camping and training facility sites for both male and female campers. The money will be used to pay for ongoing necessary maintenance and capital improvements at the camp. Camp Willabosca is a year-round camp on the shores of Windy Lake in Greater Sudbury. The property is a well-treated 18-acre site with 1,820 feet of back frontage, including 2 sand beaches. It's not uncommon to see fox, rabbit, squirrel, and partridge tracks in the winter, according to camp officials. End quote. Like I say, it's nice to have a story where a scout camp stays open gets funding that it needs to be maintained. That's good news. Meanwhile, in Fiji, Scouts are taking on an educating role in maritime schools, quoting FBC News. The Fiji Scouts Association conducted its second round of training to equip teachers and trainers from maritime island schools with skills to combat social ills. Association President Abe Nand said that such training can also help many youths who may be facing challenges. Nand adds that this program can be used as a tool to facilitate positive guidance and growth in communities. The association hopes to continue to extend such training to other individuals who are interested to learn the etiquette of a scout. End quote. Once again, another example of scouts taking a more forward role in their community. And again, something that I find we often lack here in Canada. I don't know about in the US, probably Britain, maybe. I don't know what the solution is. I just read these stories a lot and I feel like, wow, scouts around the world do some amazing things. And not that scouts here don't have amazing adventures, but I feel like that community engagement and the ability to speak to the community with, if not authority, then at least, as a knowledge resource. I feel like we've lost something there. And I guess it's also worthwhile kicking off 2025 with a reminder that, hey, if you are listening to this and you're not currently volunteering with a scout group, chances are there's a scout group in your area that needs the help, that needs a volunteer. So just a general thought put out there to kick the year off, volunteer with a scout group if you aren't already. I mean, it's a scouting podcast, so chances are if you're listening to this, you're probably already volunteering with like 2 different sections and maybe even a couple of different scout groups. Who knows? You're probably really busy. It's way more than an hour a week. But if by some chance you aren't yet volunteering with a scout group, or if you haven't volunteered with a scout group for a while, but you kind of miss it, there's probably a group that needs you. So reach out. A little bit of bad news out of the UK Scout Association. Yet another case of a stolen trailer. Quoting MSN.com and through them, the BBC. A scout club says that it has been left uneasy after its trailer was stolen by thieves and driven away. The Charnwood District Scouts says the 2 men wearing high-vis jackets broke into its premises in Mount Sorrel, Leicestershire, on Wednesday night. Carol Black, a Cub Scout leader, said members of the club left shortly after 21:30 GMT, and by 2200 the trailer was gone. The group fears that it was watched by the culprits, who waited for them to leave before stealing the vehicle, which will cost around £2,000 to replace. The trailer, used to transport equipment for day trips, camping, and other experiences for up to 1,000 children, was empty at the time and had been securely stored. A neighbor who witnessed the theft told the group that he saw the man breaking a padlock to the property, ignoring his calls to stop before leaving with the trailer. End quote. We had some discussions a while ago in our own group committee about our group trailer, which thankfully we've never had to deal with being stolen, but the discussion was focused more on the insurance of the trailer. And I think it goes without saying that, if you're going to have and maintain equipment as a group, it's probably a good idea to have insurance on it. May even be a requirement. It depends on the Scout Association, depends on the jurisdiction. But especially for things like a trailer, which can roll away a lot more easier than an armful of tents, definitely make sure to have all necessary insurance on that. Not just for accidents while you're driving, but against theft and other such things. Okay, second last story and a little bit of good news. Scouts in Guyana are celebrating 115 years. Quoting Scout.org. On November 9th, 2024, Georgetown witnessed a remarkable fusion of education, creativity, and sportsmanship as the Scout Association of Guyana and the Environmental Management Consultants Foundation partnered to host Eco Impact Cricket and Environmental Awareness event. This gathering celebrated 115 years of the Scout Association of Guyana, while also highlighting the tangible action Scouts are taking to support the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals through the Global Scouts for SDGs initiative. With over 300 Scout members from across Guyana in attendance, the event demonstrated the power of collaboration and grassroots action. It offered an opportunity to see young people not just as adventurers in uniforms, but as engaged citizens tackling one of the world's most pressing challenges, environmental sustainability. End quote. So congratulations to the Scouting Association of Guyana, because my goodness, 115 years. Impressive. Very, very impressive. And finally, one other piece of good news. As some of you saw, if you were following on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, the Scouting Stuff Neckers, they exist. They're finally here. Or at least a small handful of them are finally here. I think I ordered 25 or 30. And so, not all of those are going to hit the website for sale, and none of them are available for sale just yet. I apologize. I'd actually hoped to have that ready by the end of January, but getting sick and then having to deal with going to a funeral and then some other stuff coming along. Too many roadblocks. Have not had a chance to put the storefront together yet. That's okay. I do owe a few neckers to a few people, who've been, guests of the podcast. And so I'll be reaching out to them to figure out where to send them their neckerchiefs. And then the remaining neckers, once I have an idea of how many that is, will be put up for sale on the website. And you can expect to hear more about that in episodes upcoming. You can expect to hear more about that online, social media. I haven't figured out the exact cost of the neckerchief, and the ordering process is probably going to involve, me figuring out what it's going to cost to ship to your address first, and then sending an invoice via PayPal or something like that. But I will get them online at some point. I will figure out how best to handle shipping and all of that. And if you would really like to get your hands on a Scouting Stuff necker, you will have the opportunity. In the meantime, thank you ever so much for listening. Again, Happy New Year, and sorry for being so late and kicking this one off. Until next time, be prepared.